To realize that I'm missing some shelves. I had put them over in storage. So there they are. They've got some spiders on them. I think I'm going to clean them and get them back in. Isn't that beautiful? I've not had all the shelves in a long time. I forgot how much it holds. So one of the things that I'm testing right now is to see how long it takes to dehydrate 4 shelves. The more moisture you put in here, the longer it's going to take for them to dry out. And because I only have the one light currently hooked up, I have the light bulbs for the other 2 coming later this week or the next week after that, but I still have tomatoes and peppers coming in, so I'm going to have more. So I'm going to just try with the one light and see how long it takes to dehydrate. I put the tomatoes and the oranges closest to the light. This is close, but it has a parchment paper. And the reason for that is if this one cooks too fast, I'm thinking of moving this up here and this one down here so that the tray that's closest to the light doesn't burn. But that's the plan for right now. So I'm going to just turn it on. I expect to have to put this on overnight. I'm going to check around 8 or 9 and see if it is like burning to a crisp. If it's still really moist and looks pretty much like this, I'm going to leave it alone. If for some reason it's drying faster than I think, because it's a new light bulb, maybe that affects it. I'm going to pull the racks in and just start it over tomorrow. But we'll see. Hopefully I won't need to do that. Battle stations! Gonna be processing some apples for apple cider. And I gotta keep the baby happy. Gotta keep the baby happy. Yeah, so some of these are getting burnt while others are still really soft. So I'm just going to turn this off actually. Some of them look okay, but then some of them, so that's really interesting. I'm a little frustrated. I burnt the tomatoes instead of dehydrated them. I was so close. I was debating on whether to keep them in there, and I did, and probably just ruined them. I tasted them a little bit to see if I could maybe salvage some of it, but I don't think so. But it does make me think that I need to pull some of these out. With the new light, they are going from dehydrated to burnt very quickly. And because it's the weekend, not during the week, and I don't have as much me time to constantly be on top of things, we went somewhere for a couple hours, and when we came back they were just burnt. So that's my bad. And also just a learning curve when it comes to putting in a brand new light bulb, but also just figuring out how to work with multiple rows. You know, where's the hottest? It might be next time, if I know it's going to be a while before I come out and check, I keep them up here. But to be honest, it's getting very, very warm. So this light bulb might just be too hot, which is unfortunate because we don't really have another one. I have 2 of the smaller ones coming, and I'm wondering if those are going to work a little bit better because this is like so hot. It's really hot to the touch. So we'll see. Alright, so now I'm going to sort through what I think are pretty good ones. And then anything that looks a little burnt will go into my burnt jar. It's hard to tell too, because so these are different colors. So the ones that are a little more black are the red ones. This one's not quite there. You get some what? You can have a bag of Scooby snacks.
I'll do, Mom.
Yes, honey. Filled up a whole jar. It's a really fine line to dehydrate enough to get the moisture out so it doesn't mold, and to not dehydrate enough to where it burns. I still think I'm figuring that out, but I mean that's quite a lot, and I think the next round I'll have to do another one. I didn't get as much of the tomatoes done as I'd wanted. Most of the things that burned were the tomatoes because they need to be less moist, and they have more moisture in them, so it takes longer to dehydrate, and I haven't really found the balance between when they're dehydrated enough, whereas the bell peppers I kind of know. Tomatoes are just a little bit harder to gauge because of how wet they usually are, but I still got quite a lot, and it's still less space than would take up in the freezer. So I have this much of the burnt ones, or charred, I don't know. I feel like a better cook could possibly do something with this. I don't know, maybe a better cook could do this, but I don't know if I can. I'm going to save them for now. Maybe I can powder them and use them as some sort of spice to add to something else, but for right now I'm just sort of keeping them separate in a jar so I'm not having to sort through the good stuff to pick out the bad, but we'll see. They look pretty. They look great. My goal with these are to try to dehydrate things that have the same thickness, because I think the problem I had before with the bell peppers is the bell peppers are thinner. So whenever the tomatoes and the bell peppers were together, it was really hard to tell which ones were actually done and which ones were starting to burn. So I'm going to try to do things that are a little bit thicker and all somewhat the same thickness to see if that helps with more evenly cooking them. I have some oranges that weren't bad, but I'd already gotten another bag from the grocery store because I didn't realize we still had a bunch, and I just decided to cut them up and dehydrate them, mostly for like teas, or even if I decide to want a bath and put something fun in there. Same with the apples. I got some dried apples. They're not chewy, like I don't think this is like a snack type thing. I really dried them out because I really want them to store well. But same with the apples. I ended up having way more apples than I needed to, even with the apple cider bags that I had frozen. I just was like, oh, I think we bought so much at the farmer's market, which is great because I love being able to support farmers. I didn't realize we still had so much from the grocery store. So anyway, I am going to start to dehydrate some of the apples just to see if, one, they might be a good snack, but also two, I want to be able to store some of this stuff for teas or baths. I think these could be really good for baths. Just having some of this stuff floating in the water would just feel very luxurious, and sometimes I need that as a farmer who is not super girly, who doesn't do all the perfumes and the candles and looking all that perfect all the time. There's times where I want to feel like I am taking care of myself and feel a little bit more luxurious. And one of the ways I do that is my milk baths. And milk baths, I put a little drop of my essential oils, which I use for soap making. So I have a whole bunch. I just put a little bit in, and it just smells good. It feels good with the milk. And then this feels just like an added bonus of feeling kind of like I'm treating myself to something special. Another thing that makes me feel pretty luxurious is taking some of the bone jewelry that I've made recently and taking some fancy photographs. Right now I am just cleaning off a space and grabbing my backgrounds and my props as well as the jewelry pieces and trying to figure out which setup I like the best. I think I'm leaning more towards the pink. I have a white background, but I don't use it as much because I just find that things get kind of washed out, and the bones, because they're already white, tend to do better on colored backgrounds. I'm also trying to figure out whether I want to do an inside photo shoot where the earrings are on pieces versus on people, or whether I want them to be outside on a living model. Now, I am not a model by any means, but this gives me a really good idea on whether I prefer photographs with my earrings on a person or whether I really do enjoy the artistic aspect of setting up the props and figuring out what looks really good and what colors and all that stuff. If you enjoyed this video and loved coming along with me for all my farm crafts, please give this video a thumbs up. Comment below with a pepper or a tomato or an apple emoji. And if you want to see more content like this, please subscribe. Hit that notification bell. I hope you have a blessed week, and I'll see you next time. Bye!